Number 10. TMNT Tournament Fighters. There are 3 releases of Tournament Fighters: NES, Genesis, and Super Nintendo, all with their differences: graphically, characters, story, and sound. I really don't know which to focus on. All are made by Konami. The Super Nintendo and Genesis versions were released in 1993, and the NES version was released in 1994. It's your typical fighting game, but with the turtle characters we know and love. It has similarities to Street Fighter II, as most games copied from it then developed their own formula. You have your special moves and your standard attacks. I have the Super Nintendo cart and I played that one the most. However, I also own the Calibur collection. I must say I enjoy the graphics of the Genesis version more, but definitely knows the difficulty. It is an enjoyable fighter, especially if you like the turtles. It doesn't offer too much else from other fighters at the time, but is a good game and has a story behind the fights. Number 9. Mortal Kombat 10. The early Mortal Kombats left a lot to be desired. It was a flip side to Street Fighter. It did a lot of different things differently, including sprite animations. Oh boy, were those different days. As time went on, Mortal Kombat evolved into what we have today. No more stiff controls and a really good story to go with the great fighting mechanics the games now have. I say Mortal Kombat 10, but I'm sure Mortal Kombat 9 and 11 have a lot of good to them. Mortal Kombat is no longer just about playing a game because of violence. It's really great for the casual player and the hardcore fighters. Aside from the great gameplay, NetherRealm usually stacks its game with a lot of unlockables, or there is just a lot to do aside from online play to keep the casual player entertained. I enjoy Mortal Kombat. I consider the series has reached its peak, but who knows what is in store for the series in the future. I only expect more good things from it. Number 8. Injustice. So I talked about Mortal Kombat, and now it is time to talk about Injustice. It is also made by NetherRealm Studios. In fact, it pretty much has the same mechanics as Mortal Kombat, but it's doing a service to the fans of DC characters, at least just by looking at the game. Injustice has a great story made for the game and has a sequel, Injustice 2. I put Injustice on the list, but either one could be here. Characters have different skill sets. One being more agile can jump off a car for a defensive maneuver, or if you're a stronger character you can throw the car at your opponent to cause damage. As a fan of DC characters, I fully enjoy this game and appreciate what NetherRealm does with their games. A lot of thought and effort goes into it, not just for the casual fighter, but for the hardcore as well. Number 7. Under Night in Birth. I was pretty amazed when I first played this game. The graphics are eye-catching and suck me into the game. When you're fighting, it looks very stylized. The arenas match up well and you can truly see each fighter's personality. The game is published by Arc Systems and is made by French Bread. As weird as it seems, that is the developer of the game. I can say that I played this game casually and it is quite fun. Even now it calls to me. It is said that this game has similar mechanics to Melty Blood, Guilty Gear, and BlazBlue, which I've sadly never played. However, if you like those games, then this one is a must. If you haven't played any of those games, then definitely try it out. Number 6. Bloody Roar Primal Fury. Developed by 18 and published by Activision in America, Bloody Roar Primal Fury is a really fun game. If you want a nonsense fighting game, then look no further. This is the game for you. You can play from a variety of different characters that can transform into beasts. It really caught my attention back in the day just for this. You fight on a 3D plane. It's a small arena most of the time and I never really tried to do many combos. When you go beast mode, you deal more damage. You can even go hyper beast mode and dish out a lot more. You can transform into a beast at any point you choose, but if you don't have enough stored energy, then you're going to lose health. When you beat arcade mode, you get to see a storyboard instead of a cutscene, giving you information about the character. Kind of like what would happen in Street Fighter 2, encouraging you to play the arcade mode again to see how other characters differ. Number 5. Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 was released in arcades in 1991 by Capcom. It is a game that popularized and inspired so many fighting games. There are so many different versions of the game which you can pretty much consider DLC by today's standards. Back then that wasn't possible, so we got a bunch of new releases that expand on the original game. You have your specials, 3 punches and kicks allowing you to do some combos. The 6-button configuration became pretty much a standard in fighting games. The supers were implemented later on, which allows the characters to do their own specialized combo automatically, allowing you to do some big damage. I can't pick a specific version and call it out, but the original will always hold a special place for fighting game fans. I particularly had a great time playing the Sega Genesis port when I was younger. Number 4. Soul Calibur 2. Developed by Project Soul and published by Namco, Soul Calibur 2 is an instant favorite. It is a 3D fighter done extremely well. The combat is fantastic. I like how you need to think how you're going to attack and defend. You have to know what you're risking when you go up against your opponents, and it forces you to at least know the character a little bit to be successful. One of the most unique things about Soul Calibur 2 is that each released version had a different fighter. GameCube has Link, Xbox has Spawn, and PlayStation 2 has Heihachi. It may have made some buy the game on multiple platforms. I would have been tempted if I had an Xbox. Aside from the console differences, there are no supers or specials. Since it is in a 3D environment, you step and avoid attacks to gain the ability to do a counterattack. To me, it is quite strategic, and some say it was more of a realistic fighter. There are many modes to choose from. One of my favorites was having the ability to go through the game, get money, build experience, and get better weapons. Number 3. Capcom vs. SNK 2. Released in 2001 by Capcom, Capcom vs. SNK 2 allowed you to pick fighters from both Capcom and SNK. If you're familiar with Street Fighter Alpha 3 isms, then Capcom vs. SNK has something a bit similar called grooves. Each groove is unique and will change how you play your characters, from how your player bar is used to giving you an ability to parry. In the GameCube version, you can use a groove that allows you to use a C-stick to pick your hyper. I love the stages and the sprite work. Capcom did a good job of making their characters fit in with the SNK side. I like the idea that you can ratio your characters. Ratio lets you decide how powerful your characters are. You have up to 4 ratio. You can divide that amongst 2 to 3 fighters or just throw it all into a single fighter. It's up to you if you want a team or not. Play well enough in arcade mode and you unlock a fight against either Shin Akuma or Ultimate Rugal. Being able to defeat either will unlock that respective character. Keeping in mind that this isn't easy to do, especially for the casual fighter, but it is fun getting that challenge. Number 2. Dragonball FighterZ. Developed by Arc Systems and published by Bandai Namco, Dragonball FighterZ is a 2.5D fighting game that borrows mechanics from another famous series. It has the same mechanics as Marvel vs. Capcom. It allows you to do a lot of similar things. You can combo into anything, and you have a team of 3 fighters that you can choose from a large roster. You can use key power to teleport behind a character in Dragon Ball fashion and perform an attack. Also, just like in Marvel vs. Capcom series, you can call on an assist from one of your standby team members to get in on the action. Also unique to this game is the ability to call on Shenron, granting you a wish. Doing a combo of 10 or higher will grant you a Dragon Ball. This applies to both players. Whoever gets the last Dragon Ball and has max ki during the auto combo gets to summon him. The game features its own unique story apart from the original Dragon Ball story. At this time I can't remember if it's tied to it or not. I definitely recommend playing through the story a few times. As for other modes, there are arcade, tournament, and local offline. There's your standard online and the occasional boss battle. Number 1. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the ultimate clash between Marvel and Capcom characters. It was originally released for the arcade in February of 2000. It was then ported to the Dreamcast in June of 2000, PlayStation 2 in November of 2000, and Xbox in March of 2003. It also got a release on Xbox Live and PSN in 2009, later getting delisted. The game is a sequel to the original Marvel vs. Capcom. It features a roster of 56 playable characters. You start out with 24 of the characters and the rest have to be unlocked. In the arcade, they unlock as an experience accumulated. For consoles, there was a currency system that allowed you to buy characters and other various items such as artwork. On PSN and Xbox Live, they are all unlocked from the start. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 allowed you to do almost anything you wanted to extend a combo. You can cancel any light attack to medium to heavy, or you can go light punch to light kick, comboing into an air attack and going to a hyper combo. If you have enough bars, you can even do a triple hyper combo. You can call on your team members to do an assist, but be careful as if they get caught in an attack combo, they take damage as well. It is a great game for anyone. It's easy to get into. There aren't many stages, though they look great, and I love the sprite work for all of the characters. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. See you in the next video.